Welcome to the channel, people. Today I have 4 pallet DIY floral spring inspired DIYs for you, and you're gonna need 3. I'm perpetrating like I'm gonna use 4, but 3 of the smaller pallets for this. And I want to just take a second to show you things that you can use to hang up these. I use these little hammer-in hangers. These are one of my favorites, and they are down in my Amazon store. They're simple to put in there. They don't require you having to screw anything in. But I wanted to show you because a lot of times when I stage pieces, I use little stick ones or Velcro pieces, and get this little tag over there was distracting me. And I use these Velcro pieces, or I use little sticker pieces to help me with staging. But if you're creating decor for your home, the hammer-in hooks are an easy way to be able to hang them on the wall. The idea for this decor piece is super simple. I'm leaving the pallets very neutral, and these I picked up from Dollar Tree, these succulents. And you just pull the back out, and then we're going to use one of these little sticky pieces. So I'm going to show you how to fake it when you're just staging something. So I was low on these smaller pallets, so I'm like, I have 2 ideas. I need the pallets, and let me show my subscribers how, if they want to interchange their stuff and not use glue, how simple this is. So while I'm perpetrating like I have 4 DIYs, I actually do, but I'm going to be able to recycle my products to make the 4th DIY using these same exact pallets, because all I'm doing is sticking these stickers on here, and then look how I can rearrange them and use different florals to decorate my house if I want to. Plus, the neutral color of these palettes is so in right now. You can really take bright colors or dark colors, and you can use succulents or regular florals to create this look, and use as many of these palettes as you want. For our next project, we're going to need 4 of the larger palettes, and I'm going to just paint them with some Waverly White and a little bit of water. I like to mix them together. It's a quick and easy way to get the palettes all covered. I've done that in past videos, but I want to save you your viewing time here. Make sure you let your palettes dry really well, especially if you're going to glue them together. If not, you know, glue is not going to work well on a damp surface, okay? You don't need me to explain that to you, but if you do, let me know in the comments. I'll have a conversation with you. For the sake of how tiny the space was that I was using to glue these together, I just used hot glue, but I did go over these and paint some wood glue over top of it for a longer hold. I always tell people, do not just use hot glue on your products. If someone is telling you just use the hot glue, that's fine for crafter's sake if you're just like keeping something and you don't care if it falls apart, but hot glue will wear, especially if you leave it in the sun, it will melt. Try and put some E6000 wood glue or some of my favorite Gorilla Glue gel on your products for that long lasting bond. So this way, if the hot glue on your project is having a bad day, you know, the Gorilla Glue gel has its back and it's going to hold your stuff together. Once you have all your little sides together, you could leave it like this, but I'm going to take this stick. I do not remember if I picked this up from Hobby Lobby or if I got it from Home Depot, but they both sell these little square dowels. Well, it's not little, it's kind of thick actually. And all I'm doing for this part, which is a little tedious, is measuring it to size. So this way I can wrap it around the center to give us a little bit of contrast, add a little bit more of a high-end looking thing. I was trying to take these crafts up a notch to more of looking like a home decor piece you'd pick up somewhere in a store and pay a little bit more money for. I do want to me and these miter shears. So they did the job, but yeah. If you got a miter box, it might be a little bit easier than these with how thick this particular one was. And again, you can do this as thin or as thick as you want, but see me over here using the hot glue just for that quick bond in that one spot. The rest is all wood glue, so I know that these wood pieces are not going to come peeling off of here anytime soon. If you want to bust out a level to make sure that these are exactly in the precise spot as you go around, go right ahead. You know I like to wing things, so that's pretty much what I did here, and I adjusted with each turn. The piece is really universal, and you can honestly use it anywhere in your home to give it a little oomph. And here's our 3 pallets we're gonna use for our next DIY, people. I can't even, I'm like trying to show you the paint. Like, look at my pretty white and gray weathered look that I accomplished on here. So we're gonna need to attach the 3 pieces. I'm gonna take a popsicle stick and just cut that in little tiny slivers to do the job. And first I'm using hot glue, and then I'm going over that with some wood glue. Do you need me to remind you of why again? No? Okay, so let's carry on then. Once I did this for this particular project, I let this dry for a little bit, like 30 minutes, just to really give that glue a chance to set in, because we're going to be pressing on these seams a bit with the jute twine and the super glue gel. Now, you can use whatever you want. I'm just using the, anybody else wonder what the hell, like why is there always these weird things sticking out of the twine? Like, what is that? Like, why are these crusty bits on my twine? Like, I always question myself, like, why am I purchasing that? Anyhow, sorry, side rant. Glue, take your Gorilla Glue gel and put some little layers in the process of wrapping the twine around. If you're not worried about it, just use your hot glue, whatever makes you fuzzy inside. And then I am going to hammer in these hammer tooth. This is why earlier in the video I was using the stickies. Remember how I said we perpetrating? But now I'm using the hangers so that way we can use this later. Take the twine and you wrap it in your sections, and then I'm taking solo wood flowers. You can use whatever type of flowers you want. I'm using solo wood flowers to just press down in the center here with some hot glue. And then once that dries, I go back in with the Gorilla Glue gel and give it some squirts in some different sections to ensure that these flowers are not popping off my project. And make sure you're being careful.
If you think that you got it, hands up, put your money where your mouth is. If you think that you got it, hands up, put your money where your mouth is.
For our last project and my favorite, we're gonna need 3 of the long pallets, and make sure you glue them together and then you let this sit. Using a tumbling block because this is going to hang on the wall, and I want a brace away from the wall. I don't want pallets to just lean on the wall. So the tumbling blocks are thick enough that allow you a little pop out because they will hit the wall versus the pallets. And then I'm taking just a couple little tumbling blocks that I have stragglers laying around to kind of prop it up. And then I'm taking different color paints to give this a very vibrant weathered look, and making sure that I'm drying in between rotating the colors. A lot of times I skip the painting, and some people complain about that and other people love it. And for stuff like this, because I'm using certain colors, I like to show you exactly what I'm doing and how I'm doing it, so you at home, because you know I'm showing you how to do it, can recreate that. So when I'm doing something like this, I'm purposefully placing the paint. It is not just a smear tactic. I'm not trying to smear anything. I am purposefully placing the paint and overlapping the paint very deliberately, making sure it's dry. Then I'm taking a crusty bit paintbrush and I'm putting some chalk paint on it and scraping it so we get a heavy amount off, so we can give this a nice dry brushing. This is a little dry brushing hack that I've discovered recently that I'm in love with, and it allows me to just kind of go over and give the project a nice natural looking finish quickly. It doesn't take long at all. Then I had this trim laying around that I picked up from Home Depot, and I measured it to size. This, my people, is where I love these miter shears. Look at this baby. Look how precise and delicious that cut looks. And let me just tell you something. If I had to hand saw this with that miter box, I would throw that sucker across my patio because I would be so frustrated. And these miter shears made it all so simple. Now, I gotta thank Angela Jones DIY and Crafty Kathy for this whole let me grab a tin can and make a tin can project. I seen Crafty Kathy do some pretty amazing projects, and Angela Jones like, oh, you know, they're in right now. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go get me a tin can. So I got a tin can, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to do what everybody else is doing. They're pinching the can, and, you know, they're beautiful, but, you know, I got to be different if I'm going to give y'all an idea. So I'm like, let me cut the can in half and use these wire cutters. And 10 minutes later, I'm cussing Crafty Kathy out and wishing Angela wasn't my friend anymore. Like, why did I listen to them? But anyhow, it's beautiful. This project turned out amazing. I'm glad I did it. I used some chalk paint to just give it one coat and let that dry. And then I'm making myself a little hanger, taking several pieces of twine, and then using my nail gun or staple gun the proper way. Okay, made sure it was the right way and stapled them. And then I twirled the twine all the way to the other side to give it a cute little look, and then stapled it down on the other side. So we had ourselves a nice little hanger. And then I'm gonna take this Easter napkin that I do have for sale in my Easter kit on my website. The link is down in the description box. But I'm just using the little floral piece in the egg. I'm not using the whole egg. And taking a gloss, I know we're using gloss Mod Podge, not a matte, and putting the napkin pieces I cut into sections on here. And no, you're not going to see me bring in the sponge either, because I'm not worried if this is perfect or has seams or if it's wrinkly. It did not matter. We're making this look like an old tin can that is just super cute with some, you know, character. And I gotta tell you, I wouldn't mind doing a whole tin can like this either, not just the half a tin can, but for this project it made sense just to do the half. Or if you like that pinched looking can, go ahead and make that pinch sucker. That would look really cute on here too. Put a little rope on there so it hangs, or, you know, some embellishments. However, this is just a cute idea. I am taking some paints and just kind of blending the piece in, and then I'm getting to use for the first time. I just recently got these in a Dollar Tree browsing video, but I did want to show you, if you don't have a stamper, you can use anything like, you know, the top of this Waverly can. Put your stamp on here and it just stays. And then you can stamp it on whatever without having to buy the extra pieces. I do have mine. I just was lazy and didn't know where the hell it was and didn't want to take the time to go find it while I was trying to film. Also, not every piece pressed on there perfect, so I took a dotting pen and filled it in. People, I gotta be honest, this project has absolutely taken my top spot for my favorite palette DIY so far of the year. I absolutely love it. Let me know in the comments below how you feel about these projects, if you had a favorite today. And as always, I hope you got some learning and some entertainment. Thank you so much for joining me. Until next time, people.